Hi, I'm Caitlin, and this is Book Chats, and it's the beginning of August, which means it's time to unwrap more books. So before I do this, you're probably thinking, wait, didn't you just unwrap books, and did you even finish those? And the answer is yes, I did just unwrap books, and no, I haven't even finished those. But I realized that if I waited till I finished them to unwrap more, I didn't think it was going to work. So the current plan is I'm unwrapping 4 every month, and if I get to the point where I just have a ton unwrapped, I am going to have to ban myself from the library till I read them. Here's what I unwrapped last time. I unwrapped literally the most intimidating book on the shelf, and I have made 0 progress on it. I unwrapped this lovely finished copy of a sci-fi book, and I have read like 20 pages of it. I unwrapped this giant little mass market paperback, and I am about 65 pages in. And then the 4th book that I unwrapped was In the Afterlife by Alexander Bracken, and I have made 0 progress on that. So these are all really fat, intimidating books, and I have made very little progress, which means I'm definitely happy that my next suggestion for unwrapping things is to unwrap the skinniest books on my shelf. So I went through and pulled these off ahead of time, so in no particular order, they just happen to be stacked next to me. There's this one, which is historical or retelling. There is this one, which is my most recently purchased paper. Oh my goodness. You can see how the sun in this room has already faded this wrapping paper, and now I'm really concerned about my actual books getting faded. So I'm really glad that everything is wrapped right now. There is this, which is in my other historical retelling paper. There is this, which is in my contemporary paper. There's this, which is in one of my 2 sci-fi papers. Remember, unicorn means either sci-fi or fantasy. There's this, which is in my most anticipated paper. There is this, which is in my nonfiction paper. There is this, which is in my Christian books paper. And there is this, which is in my other sci-fi / fantasy paper. I'm right away going to get rid of 2 of these, my most anticipated and my most recent. I am not letting myself read these till I've actually finished at least one of the other ones I've read. So those are going on the side. So that means I have to unwrap 4 of these still. So I'm honestly just going to do the 4 skinniest ones. So I think that's these 2, this one, and this one. And the rest can wait until I either finish some of these or I talk to you guys again in September. Alright, so I'm going to unwrap these 4, and then I am going to take you through all the books that I'm planning to read for August. So my August TBR, barring other library books, I have 2 library books on this stack that I know for sure I have to read because I have to read them for particular book clubs. But beyond that, I will probably read library books amorphously during the month, although I'm going to try to focus on these first. Let's start with a paper we haven't unwrapped before, which would be this one. It also looks like it's like probably the close to the skinniest. I really like this paper, by the way. Oh, I don't even know what this is. All right. It is a book called Can You Sue Your Parents for Malpractice? It's obviously quite old. It's from the 90s. I heard that it's really funny, so we'll see if it is. I think I know what this one is. It's the absolute skinniest book on my shelf. And I'm pretty sure I only know one book that is this skinny, and I think I just wrapped it. So let's see. Yes, okay. This is The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis. I have had this for many years and just haven't picked it up yet, which is like a travesty in Christian circles because everyone reads C.S. Lewis all the time. Really don't know what either of these next 2 could be. Why do I have a nonfiction that's this skinny? Oh, this is not my nonfiction paper. That's why. This is my historical retelling paper. Just lying to you. This is Six Gun Snow White by Catherine M. Valente. I haven't actually read any of her work yet, and I've always intended to. So I'm actually really excited to read this one. I'm really glad that I unwrapped this because it will feel very, I'll feel very accomplished if I can read all of these short ones, guys, let me tell you. All right, I don't know what sci-fi or fantasy could be this skinny, so we're gonna see. Old habits die hard. I'm just gonna rip it though. Oh, I think this is an arc, which is good because it's like arc August, but all my arcs are wrapped, so I don't know where any of them are. This is Warp by Lev Grossman. It's an arc that I got last year at BEA, so this book has been released a long time ago. I think he wrote this before he wrote The Magicians, but it was published obviously after it's a republication of his debut novel, and it's pretty short. I have no idea whether or not I'm gonna like this. I've never read anything by Lev Grossman before, so we'll see. We'll see how many of these books I end up reading, how many of them I DNF, like what it ends up being. But I'm gonna take you guys through what I'm hoping to maybe read this month. I obviously am being way too ambitious, which you will see in a moment, but I'm gonna start with the things I know I have to read by next week. The Book of Strange New Things by Michael Farber. I have to finish this by Wednesday because I am leading discussion for book club on this book. The other book I have to read by next week is a little shorter, and that is The Guns Above by Robert Venice, and this I'm reading for a different book club I'm in that's meeting literally the day after the other one, but I'm not leading the discussion on this. So I need to finish it, but if something happens and I don't, it's okay. Tome Topple is happening in August, the 4th annual Tome Topple, and it's 2 weeks long, starting on August 4th. I just got rid of my thing where I said where it is, but obviously In the Afterlight totally qualifies for Tome Topple, and so does A Prayer for Owen Meany, which technically I already started, but I'm less than 100 pages in, and this thing is like 800 pages long. Okay, not really, like 620. And so this is what I'm really going to tackle for Tome Topple. But if I if I do get through this one really quickly, then I'm going to try to finish this one off. And then I am going to, even though they technically don't qualify for Tome Topple, I am going to try to focus on these during those 2 weeks as well, because they're very intimidating to me personally. Whenever I can squeeze them in, the 4 that I just unwrapped, I'm going to try to squeeze in. 2 other books that I maybe am going to try to read that I own this month. One of them is a reread, and that is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Okay, I'm going to buy a second copy, and I am going to annotate it, so I will try to, I'll either start it this month in August or I'll start it in September. I pre-ordered this, which is why it's not wrapped, Because You Love to Hate Me. I pre-ordered ages ago because obviously a bunch of booktubers are in it and some great authors as well. At least 2 of the people who contributed to this are going to be at BookNet Fest, which is right away on September 1st. So I thought if I can get this read before then, or at least read their stories, then I can have them sign their stories in it. So that's the plan right now. So these are all the books that I'm hoping to read in August, plus I will probably end up reading books on my e-reader / my phone from the library, and I literally have 30 books on my bed right now from the library. I don't even know if you can see the bottom of these. Hold on. Oh, okay. And yeah, so that is what I'm thinking, and we'll see how it goes. I'd like to get 6 of them. Let's say 6 of them either read or officially DNF'd. That is my August TBR. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Let me know down below if you have any thoughts on the books that I unwrapped today, if you've read any of them, if you think I'll like them or not, and let me know what you're planning to read in August. Bye.